We have been changing the player position. I showed you how you can access the properties of the position, rotation, and the scale. Just access the self keyword and it will access you all of these properties. In this lecture, we would like to move the player as we are pressing the keys on our keyboard. Let's begin. Alright, all of this we can remove. We already know what to do with this. So to get actually inputs from your keyboards, you can access the input, so with the uppercase I and input, like this. Okay? Now press dot here, and you can access here now get axis. Get underscore axis. Here you can define what keyboards you want to register. Okay? So when you will hover over get axis, you will see the first value of the get axis. You see negative action is a string name, and the next one is positive action and string name. So actually, you can write here quotation signs, and you can write here UI underscore left, and here will be action UI underscore right. Now let's print it out. So actually, let's assign it. Let's write here. If you want to assign it to the variable, you will access the var keyword, and variable name we can call it horizontal. Horizontal, like this. Because it will be capturing the horizontal axis, and we can write here print and print horizontal, like this. Maybe there's some issue. Let's see what is the issue. Parsed error, mixed use of tabs and spaces for indentation. Okay, so we have some indentation things. The Godot is very sensitive to indentation, so we can just remove the line like this and press tab. So you see it's exactly tapped, one tap away from the side of the file. Okay, if you still see error, just remember, delete the entire line like this and press tab. Okay, that's how it works indentation. If in Godot you don't have a curly brackets, you are indenting by the tabs, by the spacings. Okay, so okay, we have a horizontal. So what this will do? So this is a negative axis and this is positive axis. UI left is registered to your left arrow, so I will be pressing the left arrow. My horizontal value, which is a vector 2, so I will be pressing this arrow, the value will go from a 0 to -1. Okay, so from the 0 to -1, and when I will be holding the right arrow, the value will go from the 0 to 1. So here we get a 1. That's what it does, nothing more. Okay, so we can preview it. So save it as you have it. Press Ctrl B or Command B, and you see 0, 0, 0, 0. I will be now holding the left arrow key, okay? Left arrow key will see go to -1. I'll release the key, going to 0. -1, 0. -1, 0. I'll be pressing the right key, I'll go to 1. Okay, actually, I gave you a wrong example of how it works, right? Because I told you this. All right, get axis, that is this is negative and this is positive. Yeah, that's true. But I showed you this vector 2, and this is, we are getting the value like this, -1 and here 1. No, that's not true. Actually, you are changing only this value here, this part. And actually, it's not vector 2 as I mentioned, but it's a float. So I kind of misguided you, but we can always hover. So let's hover over get axis, and you will see what is returning. It's returning float. You see, there's an arrow and float in the end. So also can hover over here. Can I see float? No. But horizontal is a float actually. It's a number. Okay, so it's not a vector. It's a number which is at the beginning 0. This is a negative axis or negative value. This is a positive value. So I will be holding the left arrow. I'll be holding left arrow. This value will be changing from 0 to -1. So that's why you saw here -1 before. When I will be holding the right key, this will be changing to 1. So from 0 to 1. Okay, so my mistake. That's how it works. When I will run it again, you see this is not a 0, 0, but it's a 0.0. Okay, so I'm holding the left arrow, it's going to -1. When I'm holding the right arrow, there is 1. Okay, so that will be the movement. We can create a variable now. Let's copy this line, paste it under, and call it vertical. Vertical. And it will be UI up for the up arrow and UI and down, like this. So now we have 2 values, and these 2 values we can actually combine into the into vector. So we can create here a var variable, and we can call this input or movement or movement. Oh, just a movement. Yeah, we can call it movement. And this will be vector2, and I'll assign here horizontal and vertical. So that's now I'm creating the vector from these two values. One will be the x value when we're holding the UI left and UI right, so arrow keys right and left. This will be our horizontal value, so this will be going from the 0 to -1 when I'm holding the left arrow or right arrow, and this will be going also to from the actually not from 0 to -1, but from -1 to 1, I should say. This will be going to -1 and 1, this value, and the vertical the same, -1 to 1, but I'm holding the up and down arrows. Okay? So now when I will print it out, your movement, like this, 1B, you see, when I'm holding the arrows, they're changing the values. I'm holding multiple arrows at the same time, I'm changing multiple values. Okay, you can see as the vectors are changing. So now we have actually movement, and this movement we can apply to the position. So what I can do here, I can access the self position plus equal movement and multiply it by the delta, as we done before. Now press Ctrl B, Command B, and I will be, actually you don't see they're moving because there is nothing in the environment here. So shut down the scene, go to the play scene 2D, and add here something so we can see actually that we are moving. So in the play scene, I'll click it here, Ctrl A, add here, let's say sprite 2D, and a sprite 2D, let's assign this icon. We can actually see and move it. So this move tool here, just move it around like this, okay? And now press Ctrl B, Command B, and hold the arrows, and you'll see you're moving, but you're moving very slow. It's not really actually movement we want to have. So go back to your scripts here, click on the script, and go to the player JD and multiply this also by some bigger values. So let's say 20, which will say that we'll be going 20 pixels per second. Okay, and now let's run it. And now you see when I'm holding the arrows, now I'm moving faster. Up, left, right, and so on. Okay? Perfect. So we have this movement now created. Okay, so movement is working perfect. We can save this. And actually this value of 20 you see here, we can specify from inside of the editor how to do it. Okay, this will be interesting. So I'll write here variable, call it speed, and you can also now say what value, what type it will be. It's integer, it's float, it's string. Float can be speed can be float like this, and initial value can be 20, let's say. And you can set the speed instead of the here 20 value, and this takes the 20 value speed because we have specified it up here. It'll be 20. But I cannot change it from an editor. When I will select the player here, click on the player, I see there is no property exposed in my editor here. So if you want to expose it to your editor, you need to prefix it by this annotation @sign and export, like this. And I'm going to do it, export it. Now you see it in your editor. You can see the player and speed is 20. So I can change it, for example, in my editor to 100, press enter, and I will press the Ctrl B, Command B. I'll be going much faster. Okay? So now I can manipulate this value from inside of the editor. Not every time you need to change it in the code. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's how you can change the positions. We'll be talking more about it in the next video. I would like to show you more things with this. Okay, so see you next one. Cheers.